What's good, y'all? It's the one and only Nappyhead Fred coming back to y'all with another album review of Paul Wall, The People's Champ. This is Paul Wall's commercial debut album, but it is his second studio album released September 13th, 2005 under Atlantic Records, Asylum Records, and Swishahouse Records. I don't know how that connection works with all the record labels gaining up on one person, but I guess it works either way. I have a fun fact about Paul Wall. Paul Wall is a DJ. Yeah, let's just get into it.
Wow, baby, yeah, that's me. These hoes wanna know what I'm back. Bitches cuss all on my neck and on my wrist and in my mouth.
First song we got on this album is I'm a Player featuring 3 6 Mafia. For the first song on this album was honestly very iconic. The production is very 3 6 Mafia like, especially hearing their ad-libs in the background. The iconic ad-libs just really makes the song that more just iconic for me. But the production is great. It's definitely, like I said, 3 6 Mafia kind of production. So if y'all know 3 6 Mafia production, y'all know the production is crazy. But getting into the lyrics, I feel like Paul Wall was definitely just making an introduction of just knowing who he is and basically what he represents, and he killed it on his verse. Obviously 3 6 Mafia, the whole crew, had really good verses too, and the best part about it is his flow was amazing. His cadence was right on par with the beat, and the beat type was amazing. This was just a really good start to many other albums that I've ever heard. It's just a really solid start because it's just an introduction of who Paul Wall is, and I feel like perfect introduction. So I definitely enjoyed this song a lot, and it definitely low-key still sounds good to this day, low-key.
What you know about swingers and Vogues? What you know about purple drink? What you know about popping trunk with neon lights?
Next song we have on this album is They Don't Know featuring Mike Jones. Gosh, Mike Jones, I have not heard that name in forever. But getting into the music, let's not worry about Mike Jones yet. I feel like the production was definitely a interesting one. I feel like it was definitely creative. It kind of reminded me of like one of them like background musics of like Mission Impossible or like 007, like just something that has like a crime scene or investigation. It just sounded like that, but obviously aggressive beat type. Just overall, I feel like the production was okay. I couldn't complain too much. Lyrics wise, I feel like was honestly pretty dope. Mike Jones feature, he sounded very low quality. I'm not even gonna lie, he sounded like he was just in the background somewhere, but I feel like his verse was cool. Paul Wall was able to flow through the track pretty well. This isn't really a song I would go back to because I feel like the production is just okay. I feel like the verses are okay, but I feel like for the most part it's still an acceptable song either way.
Coming straight out of the side with my nuts in my hand. It's the Swishahouse, the third coast, the state of Texas.
Next song we got on here is Riding Dirty featuring Trey Songz. I'm not that crazy over this song at all. The production definitely gives like that church piano kind of feel to it, but like the beat type is very just not there, and it's just not, production wise, it's just not that great. I don't really enjoy it that much. Getting into the verses though, I feel like Trey Songz as a feature, I know I was just mentioning the verses, but Trey Songz as a feature really didn't impress me that much. His singing performance wasn't too special. If anything, it sounded like he was on auto-tune, and it just sounded very weird. So I didn't really like him on the hook at all. I feel like Paul Wall was trying to like keep a steady pace with the beat, but it just really was not working for me. So I don't feel like his rap performance was all that impressive on this particular song. If I had to be honest, this is just one of the songs that I would honestly just skip on because I just feel like performances were not that great, especially the production was just like very low quality, really outdated if I'm being honest. So yeah, just need some better improvements. And Trey Songz could have did way better. I mean, come on, bro.
Y'all better keep your weapons close. It's Philly and Paul Wall, and this is the way we ball. Bring the wrong.
Next song we got on here is State to State featuring Freeway. I actually enjoyed this song a lot. I feel like the production was definitely well put together. It definitely has kind of that hardcore like sounded production that really was good. The beat type was honestly very good as well. But getting into the verses, I feel like Freeway that started off definitely had a really solid verse. His cadence was crazy on here, just matching the production right off the rip. But then obviously once Paul Wall came up, he definitely flowed through the track very well with his really good rhyme schemes on this song. I would honestly say this is one of the more underrated songs on here because it definitely still sounds really good. It definitely has a good bop to it. And overall, I feel like this song is just acceptable. It's just really underrated compared to a lot of the other songs that I will mention further on in this video. But honestly, a really good song.
So many diamonds in my teeth, you can't see no gold. 100 keys in the streets every week, no old.
Next song we got on here is So Many Diamonds featuring T.I. I thought this song was cool. It was a really smooth listen for the most part. The production is very like weary, kind of down south kind of production, but it definitely fits within Paul Wall and obviously T.I. They're both kind of in the South, so it makes sense how that works, how that dynamic works. So I feel like the production was definitely like a laid back, old school, Southern kind of sound with a really good beat type overall. But I feel like verses wise, T.I.'s verse was okay. It really wasn't nothing special. He was on the hook for the most part though, so I feel like he did good on the hook. But his verse, I just didn't find that memorable, if I'm being honest. Paul Wall's verse was honestly cool for the most part. They're just, I feel like context wise, it was there. Them talking about like the diamonds in the teeth and stuff like that. But like, I just don't feel like the verses were that impressive within this song. So in a way, I feel like this song is still good because the production is definitely there. I feel like the context is there as well, but I just don't think verses wise, they were just too like, I don't know if it sounds crazy, but they were just too laid back to the point where it sounded like they were lazy rapping basically. So it just didn't really spark up for me, but overall, I feel like for a throwback song, it's definitely good for that occasion.
I'm a cheap magnet, I'm a ladies' man. I put a smile on your face any way that I can.
Next song we got on here is Smooth Operator. I like this song a lot. Definitely one of the more underrated songs on this album so far. The production is definitely one of my favorites. I just like how laid back, kind of like, gosh, I hate to say this because it sounds cringe, but I love how laid back it is and kind of like Cadillac laid back. I know that sounds crazy, but I could just imagine somebody playing this in a Cadillac and just really just getting people's attention for some reason. But it's a very smooth song. It's a very settled song. It's just a real laid back production. I feel like the beat type was really good, and adding the trumpets in the background I think was a really nice touch overall, just to make the song more popping in a way. But I feel like Paul Wall's verse was definitely really cool. He just flowed through the track very well with his good rhyme schemes. The context of this song was really good as well. And I feel like, again, this is really an underrated song. So if y'all haven't already listened to it, I would advise listening to this song because it's definitely very underrated.
It's the people's champ. I'm something like a bowler. The candy paint dripping out for the old school Impala.
Next song we got on here is Sitting Sideways featuring Big Pokey. This song, I mean, obviously one of the more popular songs on this album, if not the most popular song in Paul Wall's catalog. This song is just iconic. It definitely is a throwback. The production, you know, if it was my first time hearing the production, I would think the production was kind of like lack of creativity. But the more and more you listen to the song, the more you're just like, dude, the production's actually pretty good on here. I just like how they have the sampling kind of in the background saying sitting sideways. That's basically the hook, but I just like that background of I think his name is Big Pokey. I think that's him in the background. I might be wrong. Don't quote me. But overall, I feel like the production was definitely just really iconic. The beat type was really good. And the way Paul Wall just flowed through the track, being the first verse, I mean, he just did it effortlessly. Oh gosh, I don't know how to say it. Y'all know what I'm saying, but he did so well on his verse. And Big Pokey, which RIP him, he had a really dope verse as well. His aggression on the beat was really meant for him to be on this beat type. This is just a song that just sits in the throwback section of, man, I haven't heard this song in a long time. Let me listen to this song. And, you know, I low-key would argue this song low-key still sounds good till this day. It hits different. I feel like if you played it in a car and everybody's hearing it and they're like, yo, I remember that song. So definitely a really, really, really good throwback song. And I honestly go back to this song from time to time because it has that nostalgic to it, low key.
Straight up out of that chat room and live from the message board. I'm at the crib all by myself, chatting online when I'm.
Next song we got on here is Internet Going Nuts. I was about to say going crazy, but going nuts. I feel like this song was okay for the most part. These are just one of the songs that you don't really go back to that often because it's not that kind of song. But I feel like the production, honestly, I didn't really like the production. I'm gonna just put it like that. I feel like the production was definitely lack of creativity. The beat type was okay. The sound of the production was very just basic and simple. It just wasn't nothing crazy. I feel like the context of this song was honestly pretty good because obviously he's on the internet talking to females, looking up his emails, seeing what females text him and him texting them and like getting with them and all that stuff that was happening in the mid 2000s basically. But I just feel like the rap performance, I feel like it was good, but it just wasn't really focused. Like I feel like the production needed to be more focused. And for the most part, I just feel like the sound of him just needed to be more focused. So, like I said, this isn't really a song that you can go back to often, especially like if you're listening to it personally or even in the car. It's just not that kind of song. It's really just a good one-time listen and you're like, you know what, the storytelling on this was good, but it's just not that kind of song if I'm being honest.
I'm all about the G's, baby, all about the cheddar. When it come to ghetto grinding, can't nobody do it better.
Next song we got on here is Trill featuring BG, Bun B, and BG and Bun B again. That's weird. I don't know why they're mentioned. Anyways, this song was honestly, this song was okay. I kind of have trouble with the production because the production is definitely different from a lot of the other previous songs I just named. It definitely brings kind of that rock and roll theme to it, but it also brings that aggression of the bass and just overall really just aggressive song. So, I mean, it's okay, but I just don't think it fits with everybody's rap performances because when Bun B starts rapping on this, it just sounds like so misplaced. It just doesn't sound like he should be rapping on a beat like this. It just doesn't sound that good. And I feel like Paul Wall's verse on here, I feel like everybody's verse overall was actually good. I just don't think it was meant for this kind of production. So honestly, I would say it's a good song, but I wouldn't really listen to it like that due to the production being just not fitting within everybody's like verse, I guess. So, and as chill as Bun B is on a lot of his stuff, it's not surprising that he doesn't sound that great on this production, but he definitely had a good verse. I feel like everybody did, but just the production on here was just not my favorite thing.
Gone, open up a map and take a trip down south. Come on over to Houston, Texas. Welcome to the Swisher.
Next song we got on here is Sipping the Bar, or Sipping the Bray. Sipping the Bar, Sipping the Bray. He said it in the song pretty much, or on the hook, so it could be Sipping the Bar, Sipping the Bray. I don't know. But I thought this song was actually a really smooth listen. It definitely gave just that southern kind of sound, but it was a very slow like production, but the beat type was definitely a good elevation to this production. So overall, like low-key enjoyed the production a lot. Paul Wall's like laid back like self on this song was really good as well. I feel like he flowed through the beat very well. The hook was very catchy on this one compared to a lot of the other songs that I previously just named besides Sitting Sideways. But I low-key enjoyed this song a lot. I feel like it's very underrated and maybe not paid attention to because it's not like a crazy song to listen to, but it is a very laid back song and honestly really underrated production overall.
My homie Molly used to stay 79th May, one of my best friends from back in the day.
Next song we got on here is Drive Slow featuring GLC and Kanye West. This was probably the most surprising song to hear on here because I vividly remember the production on this album, or not this album in particular, but just on this song. And I low-key this whole time thought this was Kanye's song, but it's Kanye's production and just Paul Wall's song. And that took me by a shocker because I don't remember Paul Wall being on this song back when I had first listened to it. So it's definitely surprising, but getting into the production, obviously the production was very good, very classical, good, you know, what's it called? I can't even think of the word, but overall good sampling. That's what I meant to say. Really good sampling. Just has like an old school beat type. Overall though, I feel like the verses on here were really good. Kanye starting it off, you know, had a good flow, good energy to the song, wasn't nothing too hype, but the most impressive verse was honestly Paul Wall. And it's not because I didn't think he was going to be able to rap on this beat. It just caught me off guard hearing this and then hearing him rap, and I'm just like, yo, he's flowing very well, especially with his really good rhyme schemes. And just, I mean, he just has such a different rapping he has such a different rapping ability compared to a lot of other people I've heard. It's just, he's very nostalgic in a way, and it fits him very well. So this song was honestly really good. I would say it's pretty underrated just because I don't think a lot of people know that this song is on this album, but I feel like if people go back, man, they'll be surprised.
March like a soldier, walking how you talking, play it how you say it, stop acting on that hard shit.
Next song we got on here is March and Step featuring Grit Boys, but I'm gonna be honest, I don't know who Grit Boys is, but I literally heard Lil Wayne on this song, so let's just say featuring Lil Wayne. I thought this song was honestly okay. I feel like the beat type or just the production in general, it was just okay. I just feel like it was kind of simple. It was kind of just, I just feel like more could have been done with it. It's like kind of a cheerful beat type. It's kind of like a cheerleading beat type from back then where, you know, they did, you know, some of these like, hey, like, y'all know what I mean? Do y'all, okay, I'll never do that again, but that's what they used to do. They used to, I forgot what them type of people are, but, basically that's the kind of production it sounds like for the most part. So I wasn't too crazy over it like that because it wasn't really fitting too much. But I feel like overall Paul Wall was able to flow through this track, especially Lil Wayne, especially in 2005. I mean, Lil Wayne was just on another level, I'm just saying, but he was able to flow through the track very well. The only verses I really heard was Lil Wayne and Paul Wall, so I don't know who the Grit Boys is. I might need to search that up, but maybe it's a group that Wayne was in that I just genuinely didn't know about. But honestly, I feel like this song is still acceptable. I still feel like it's good, even though I talked stuff about the production being kind of, you know, lack of creativity in a way. But overall, I still feel like it's a good song.
Stomping down in my Reebok white, rear view mirror jackets in sight. Not to worry, I feel no fright. I'm wide open, I'm ready to fight.
Next song we got on here is Got Plex featuring Archie Lee and Kuda Bang. Kuda Bang, yeah, I think that's how you say his name. I feel like this song was cool. The production wasn't nothing too crazy. I feel like it was kind of janky in a way, but I feel like the beat type on it was nice, but the sound of the production I was kind of iffy on, but I've grown to like it a little more after listening to it for a couple times. I feel like the verses on here were like on and off because I feel like Paul Wall kind of lacked on keeping up with the beat in some aspects. Like there was moments where he was on beat and then there was moments where he was kind of off, and it was just like, oh man, I don't know what kind of pace this production is really on. So overall, I would say it's an okay song. It's not a song I would go back to that often though, because I just feel like that to me is a pet peeve when you can't really stay on beat as much. It's just a pet peeve of mine, maybe not yours, but just a pet peeve of mine. But I feel like his rap performance overall was solid though. It wasn't terrible. It's just the off-putting of off the beat just threw me off. But overall, I would say okay song.
We started off, we were 2 peas in the pond, motivated by love with the blessings of God.
Next song we got on here is Girl. Obviously one of the more popular songs on this album, if not the most popular song in Paul Wall's catalog. I feel like this song, context-wise, is definitely very underrated, especially just hearing it now that I'm obviously an adult and just realizing like Paul Wall was a lot different from what people really think. But getting into the production, I feel like the production on here was very, very good, especially with the sampling. I don't know who he sampled, but the sampling was really good with the beat type being very on par with just the whole production thing was very, very good. But I feel like the context of this song was really very interesting and just well spoken by Paul Wall because, you know, his image definitely does give off like, oh, he be getting at a bunch of females, but in reality, he's not that type of dude. Like he definitely has feelings towards one girl and one girl only, and he represented that in this song to the fullest. And you know, I did kind of my research, not to go on his personal information, but with this album dropping in 2005, he also got married in 2005, and he's still with the same person he's been married with in 2005 still to this day. So it just lets me know like he really cares about loving one person and not messing around with other females. Like he really is like dedicated, and that's the part that definitely shocked me. And another thing that shocked me is she's black. So hey, props to him, man. I would have never imagined, but hey, he might get a pass in the hood. I ain't even gonna lie. Matter of fact, it ain't even a might. He low-key gets a pass in the hood for that. I'm not even gonna lie. But I just think this song is definitely iconic. It's definitely showing a different retrospect of him, and obviously a good image, because who would have ever thought someone like him would have a good heart for just one woman in the world that he was able to build with still to this day. So I think that's very, very iconic.
I'm coming down, candy paint sprayed by that idiot, 12 coats of that clear looking like some grape jelly.
Next song we got on here is Big Ballin'. I thought this song was cool. It definitely shows how dated this song is due to the title being Big Ballin'. Like I don't even think people say that as much anymore, but I feel like the production was definitely pretty solid. It definitely had like a weary kind of outer space kind of sound, but it wasn't too outer space. It was just like a weary sound with a pretty good beat type. I feel like the background saying big ballin', I feel like it was a nice little touch to the song. His verse on here was honestly okay. It wasn't much to it. It's just him talking about, big balling in different ways. And I feel like, why not stun on people that don't got it like you? But I don't know. There just isn't much to take from this song that's, I feel like, super important. It's not like he's like teaching us how to big ball. He's just telling us what he does is big balling, which now that I think about it, that might just be the same thing. But I feel like the song was solid. It isn't a song I'll go back to that often, but I'd say just a overall solid song.
You can't see what I see, don't strain. You're focusing too hard, this is only I can sing. All I need is the fire, sweet and sip.
Next song we got on here is Sip and Get High, featuring Aqua Leo. Hopefully I said his name right. I feel like this song was honestly pretty solid. It definitely caught me off guard. I feel like the production is definitely there. It has like a piano sound in there with a really good beat type, but it's kind of more of like a darker piano sound, but not too dark, like to a limit. But I feel like the production was overall pretty good. I feel like, gosh, Aqua Leo, it sounds so crazy to say his name, but Aqua Leo was really, really good as a feature. I feel like him even being on a hook was a really good part. I feel like his verse was honestly solid. Paul Wall was able to flow through the track very well, with his rhyme schemes being on top of just everything on this particular song. And I honestly think I would argue a really underrated song compared to a lot of the other songs on here. Definitely, I would say one of my favorites for sure, because it's definitely hidden, but it has really solid everything, and I feel like it couldn't get worse than solid. So overall, I feel like this is a pretty good song, really.
I'm not your average guy, I'm more than meets the eye. I know I'm friendly and fly, but let me tell you why. I was a
Next song we got on here is Just Paul Wall. I thought this song was definitely really, really good, and I would say very underrated compared to a lot of the other songs on here. I feel like the production was definitely really good, just the sampling in the background. It's more of like one of those kind of productions that is meaningful, that you know that when you hear this production, it's going to be storytelling, and I feel like that's the most important part about this song. His storytelling on here was definitely really good, just talking about his upbringing, getting into like this music industry, and obviously him dealing with a lot of people that wind up turning out to be his enemies once he got famous, and seeing how common that is today. I feel like this song was definitely ahead of its time, and I feel like, for the most part, he was definitely giving us a perspective of what he truly is. I think many people think Paul Wall is a thug. They think he's you know what I'm saying, just in that category, but really he's family oriented. He wants to build with somebody. He wants to like stay at peace and just build good relationships. He's not trying to like go at anybody. And I feel like he was able to represent that on this heartfelt song. And, I think the best part is that he did thank God. He got down on his knees and thanked God for like all that he received during the process of making money and just building a career. So I feel like you got to respect this song, and I would argue it's probably the best song on here. It's maybe not a song that you listen to all the time, but I feel like from a storytelling aspect, especially the production being well put together, this song was definitely thought out a lot, and I feel like for good reasons, this could just be the best song on the album. So very good storytelling.
What you know about swingers and bows? What you know about purple drink? What you know about popping trunk with neon lights and candy paint?
The last song we have on this album is They Don't Know, featuring Bun B. For this to be the last song, I'm not that big of a fan of. I would have suggested the previous song that I just named to be the last song. That would have been more fitting. But I feel like the production was just, I don't know, way too electronic for me to really like enjoy. Now, I can enjoy some electronic if that's based on your kind of music, but for Paul Wall, especially Bun B, it just didn't it didn't work for me. I feel like their verses though were honestly pretty good. I feel like they were able to keep up with the beat type very well, but I just don't like the production in general because it just sounds too electronic-y and too like I could see someone like, gosh, let me think of a rapper. I could see somebody like maybe Lupe rapping on this beat, and that's no diss to Lupe. I could just see him rapping on this beat rather than Bun B. Do you get what I'm saying? It just doesn't fit for Bun B as it does for maybe Lupe Fiasco. So I don't know. I just didn't enjoy the production at all. I feel like the verses were solid overall, but there just wasn't much to take from this song that was very memorable at all. So yeah, but it is time to get to the final thoughts. My final thoughts on this album, I think this was low-key just a solid throwback album. This was my first time ever listening to Paul Wall. I was anticipated on listening to Paul Wall. I've been planning on doing an album review on Paul Wall in general because I think he's very hidden in like hip hop due to him low-key being in the 2000s and just everybody else also being in the 2000s. Like the 2000s, I think was like one of the bigger years of hip hop, just many artists coming through, and he was kind of just hidden in a way. But I feel like this album definitely was a good representation of who Paul Wall really was, and really good songwriting for the most part. His rhyme schemes were very memorable, very quotable. Some surprise features on this album, hearing like Lil Wayne, Kanye West, like names like that, you're just like, whoa, he was able to get with them. Like, that's crazy. So at this point in time, I know a lot of white rappers were not looked at, you know, in a good light around this time, but I feel like he was able to really stand out even without being viewed as a black rapper. He was viewed as a true white rapper, but just Southern as any other probably black rapper that was out at that time. And he was able to just make a stamp in the hip hop game for himself with this album. And not only that, there's obviously some really classic songs on here that anybody could go back to at any point. Definitely some nostalgic coming out of this because I remember hearing a lot of these songs when I was really young. Now, there are some duds on this album with it being long. There's 18 songs, so it's a very long album. But overall, I feel like he was able to just really do his thing and get creative, which I was very impressed with because I wasn't expecting any creativity on this album. I'm not even going to lie. I thought I was just going to hear a lot of Southern sounds and that was it. But he was able to go outside of the box. And that to me is very important for a career like Paul Wall because he could really stop rapping today and people could go back to this album and be like, man, this album was filled with a lot of really good songs overall. So honestly, I think this was a really solid commercial debut album, but overall just a solid album in his catalog that I feel like can definitely get mentioned as a classic at some point one day. With all that being said, I'm giving this album a 7.5 out of 10. That will conclude today's video. I hope y'all enjoyed. If y'all did, like, subscribe, and comment down below what other albums y'all want me to do. Also, click the link down in my description for all my social medias. But yeah, I'll catch y'all on the next one.